Hello everyone, welcome to Crystal Eclipse. My name is Jessica. In this video, I'll be asking the cards, are they happy now? And this will be toward your ex, the person that's on your mind, the person that you're sort of thinking about right now. And this is more focused on, are they happy in their current relationship? Like, have they moved on? Are they still, like, wondering what could be if they were with you? So I have 4 stacks for you all today. Starting over here, we have the King of Wands, the Five of Cups, Five of Swords, and lastly Judgment. So choose whichever card really resonates with you, or something like that draws you directly to that card. If it's multiple cards, choose all the cards that really stand out to you. And the stack might not entirely resonate with you, so just take those bits that really like impact you, that you feel are like the message that's meant for you. You can check the description box or the comments section for timestamps if you'd like to skip directly to those stacks or stack that you chose. So let's get started. Starting with the first stack, and we have the King of Wands. So with this card here, I want to say that if you were drawn to this one, this is where you're at right now. This is that sort of stage that you're at in your life. You've gotten to where you want to be, or you're almost there. Like that goal is right in front of you, and it's within your grasp. So I'd say right now you're sort of thinking about the past. You're thinking about relationships and which ones really left an impact on you, and which ones you're sort of like happy that you're not in anymore, and happy that person is in the past. But I'd say that there's this one specific person that you keep thinking back to, almost as if the relationship didn't end during the right time. Like the timing wasn't where you felt like it should end, meaning that you still think there's more to the relationship. There's more that could have happened, and you can't help but remember that relationship. I would say too, it seems like it didn't end well, or it wasn't like a satisfactory ending, if you understand that. It's like it wasn't something that you felt like, okay, I can move forward from this and not think about it again. There's something that was sort of lingering with that relationship. So, but I would say like you're at a good place to think about this relationship. So if you're finding yourself thinking about this person a lot, I would say it's because your mindset is in a new place. When we go to these cards, we have the Knight of Wands, the Five of Cups, the Father of Pentacles, and the Seven of Crystals, options and results. So I'd say we have so much going on, and I see like this person sort of all over the place. I would say we have this Knight of Wands, and when it came to this relationship, it almost seemed like they, I don't want to say that they're the ones that ended it, but I want to say that they had a major part in the ending, and the reason why it sort of didn't end on the right time. The way it ended was abrupt. And I would say because they have this character, they have this personality trait where they're sort of like jump into it and sort of jump out. So it's never a progression. It's always just instant. And that's what leads them to a lot of like the issues or the relationships that they go through being almost short in a way. And it could have been that you were in a long relationship with him, but I feel like there was nothing that was very almost dedicated about them. There wasn't something that you knew from the beginning. You knew this person wasn't that type that would want a lasting relationship. And now that was them, I think, at that stage. Their mindset was that like conquer, do like get the best job, get the best spouse, get the best partner, get the best like anything, get the best house, get the best car. It was like just sort of get that, but then they didn't do anything to maintain it. They didn't really care after that. They had it, and then it was like it was done. And it's almost like they lost attention quickly, because you see that excitement here with the Knight of Wands, but then we see the Five of Cups where they're so focused, right, on these 3 cups that fell over. They're focused on those as if the world's fallen apart, but there's those 2 cups standing, and we see that they have their back to these cups. And that's the way they looked at this relationship. I would say they have that way of looking at a lot of relationships and a lot of things in life. They turned their back to the good things, and they wanted more. It's like they always wanted to move up, and if something got in their way, rather than sort of moving on, or moving forward, they just left it. You know, they sort of abandoned things, and that's where there's like this, well, what if that's coming into play here. We see the Father of Pentacles coming in. We see this bright shining star in the sky, and we see the rainbow in the antlers. And I would say that that's a positive here, and that's where this person is headed. They're headed toward this new enlightenment, this new way of looking at life, and sort of realizing the issues that they have, the mistakes they made, and just their overall way of doing anything. They're starting to realize what it is that has caused them issues. But because we see these two cards here, and we still see that their personality is sort of that way, I would say right now they're not happy. They're happy for a second, if that makes sense. They're happy like during that period of time, and then the happiness is over, so they have to find the happiness again, and they're just in a like non-stop cycle of find the happiness. They're not happy anymore, find the happiness. And I feel like they're working their way to this stage in life, this mature realization stage, but I would say they're not quite there yet, because we still see that like progression being made here. But what's interesting is we see this Seven of Crystals, and this almost looks like it's like making its way down a road, sort of on a journey. And it's interesting to me because we see results at the bottom of this card, and results means that this person is making some sort of attempt to change, some sort of attempt to fix who they are. And they're starting to see that improvement, starting to see those changes. So I would say right now they're not happy because they're trying to change who they are. They're not happy with that person that they're with. And I would say if you're probably seeing that they're going in and out of relationships, and you're just sort of like, well, why aren't they staying with one person for more than a month? You know, why are they not? If they weren't happy with me, then like why aren't they happy with anyone else? You're realizing it wasn't just you, it's everyone. Like nobody is able to make them happy because they're just not at that stage in life to where they can be happy. And even if they have been in a relationship for a while, it's not one that is really serious. And I would say if it is serious, it's probably because the other person is making it serious. Their new partner is what's making it serious. But they're still in this sort of journey, this like finding themselves, finding out what it is they want in life, and realizing where it is they made mistakes. So I would say when it comes to you, it doesn't seem like they're going to be happy in a relationship for a while. I would also say that means that like they're not at the right point in their life to be with you, if that's what you wanted. If you're hoping that they come back to you, I would say that they're still not really ready for that relationship. But that's what I'm seeing with this first stack and the King of Wands. Just seems like right now they're looking for something that'll make them happy, but they're not like really there yet. Starting with our second stack, we have the Five of Cups. That's interesting. If you saw the first stack, this was actually one of the cards in there that I drew, and I find it like really interesting because these stacks are probably going to overlap. But we see the Five of Cups card, and the Five of Cups, of course, is a person standing in the center staring at these cups that have fallen over. The two are still standing, but they're completely ignoring the two that still have contents in it, right? They still have something of value in them, but they only see what's falling on the floor. And I would say that this is sort of the example of the relationship here with this stack, because we're seeing that first card. And to me, with this, it's almost like there's a loss that is unforgettable. This is a great loss. And even though you probably have friends around you that are saying it's good that they're gone, like you can move forward, you can have this, you can have that now that they're gone, there's still something that's very important about this relationship that has you focused on almost the return, or focused on where they're at, hoping that maybe by chance they might come back to you, or that there might still be something special there. So I would say that this is really the relationship. There's positive in the relationship ending, but there's also negativity in the relationship ending. So our first card is the Six of Cups. Then we have the Ace of Cups. The Three of Cups and the Ace of Acorns. So I think we have a lot of cups going on here. It's interesting. We have these cards assortment, and I want to say that this card sort of explains everything that's going on here. This person seemed like really just a wonderful person. This person, I don't know how to word it properly, but it's like they gave you a future, right? They gave you plans for a future. They gave you dreams for a future, because we see here, it sort of looks like these two together are dreaming of this, right? And this is a very happy scenery, and it was a really lovely relationship, a relationship that seemed like it had a future. And we see that Ace of Cups coming in, where there's so much going on, right? There's so much positivity. It's overflowing with good things. And because we have those cups here, right? We have a lot of cups that are connected directly to this card. I would say this is why you can't forget them. This is why you still think about them. And no matter what your friends say, you still go back to that, because there's a very special part of your heart that this person has. This is a pure happiness that you had with them, and there's still almost why did it end? What led to this end? What could I have prevented? What could I have done to prevent anything from leading to this end? But I would say we have this greatness over here, but then this Three of Cups comes along. And I want to say there seems to be another person. It doesn't mean that there's like they were cheating on you or anything. I mean, it could have been, but was like a voice in their head, right? There's somebody else influencing this situation. And I think that's interesting, because we see that Three of Cups over here, and we can almost imagine that to be the Three of Cups that spilled over, right? So there's that third party that's not invited. It was supposed to be the two of you, but for some reason there was somebody else. There's somebody else. This could have been a family member. This could have been friends. It could have been somebody, but they were involving themselves in the situation. There was somebody somewhere that was really putting themselves in there. And I mean, it could have been somebody else in the relationship. They could have been with somebody else, and that could have led to the end, and why you're sort of upset with this. Why it's like, you told me we were going to have this future, and then you sort of like screw me over. But when it comes to this card, because we see that third party, I want to say that they're still in that headspace, that like that person is still there. There's somebody still there. It might not be that exact person, it might be a new person, but that person is still there, sort of controlling them, sort of telling them what to do, sort of whispering it in their ear, still like controlling that entire situation. And they're not happy. They're not happy with that, because it's not where they want to be. I would say it's almost like they're alienating other people away from them. They're still doing that. They're still trying to get in between them and others. We see this card coming in, and with this one, I would say that this is going to be you. This is going to be you when you sort of like see everything that's happened, sort of see that end there, when you realize it. And I would say that you're going to see this, like this is going to come in front of you. It might be online, it might be on like social media or something. It might happen at like a party or something. You might actually see what's really going on. But we see this confidence here, and we see this like beautiful happy card. And this is the only card, as far as I know, that is not a cup card. Acorns, I believe, in this tarot deck are wands. So we're seeing you separate here in this situation. You're looking like you're gonna be pleased that you're not within this relationship or within this person's life anymore, because there's a lot going on, and I feel like it's going to take them a long time to sort of get rid of this person or have them stop influencing them. This might not resonate with you at all. You might think like this is like far out there, but I really want to say there's something else that's going on. This could just be a friend that's like just talking poorly about people. But I would say that it's always the case where somebody is always coming along and putting negativity into their mind, sort of being that like devil on the shoulder. There's always something there, and it seems like they just don't have the control over the relationship they're in. But I would say that when it comes to this, it really was something special, but it's not something that you can't have again, because we do see an Ace of Cups, meaning there's an abundance, there's more to come. We see confidence, and we see a complete turnaround over here. So this person isn't happy. This person isn't truly happy. But I would say that this is a good card to have, because it's showing that you will be. So that's what I'm seeing with this second stack and the Five of Cups. So starting with our third stack, we have the Five of Swords. If you were drawn to this card, this seems like a representation of the way that you sort of view this person, this ex, this person that you're thinking about. They almost had this pride, I want to say, like they had this confidence about them that was both good and bad. They were always really capable, but at the same time, it almost seemed like they were gloating about it. They were too happy with everything that they did, and there is almost a negative feeling that they left you with, because of just their like arrogance. It almost seems like an arrogance within this card, even though they were capable, even though like they worked incredibly hard and they were deserving of whatever they got. You know, like I would say that they are a hard worker, but that arrogance that they had was sort of like too much. And that's a major impact on this relationship. That arrogance made them sort of unable to see issues. And it was either they ignored issues, they minimized an issue, or they dismissed issues. And that seems like that's going to be a major part of this reading. So we have the Moon card, which is already starting off to explain this person to me. Then we have the Hermit, the Hierophant, and the Seven of Feathers, preparation and resourcefulness. This stack really does say exactly who this person is and where they're at. I would say that they're pretty happy with where they're at, and not because they actually are in a good place. It sounds like saying, oh, they're happy now. It sounds like it's good. Like it's not good for you, but it's good for them. But with their happiness, I want to say that they like created their own world, so they're happy with their creation. Nothing is real. Nothing is, you know, going to have flaws in it, because they're only allowing things that are sort of perfect to exist. And if anything goes wrong, they easily like snip out the issue and move on. And that seems to be something that's like really just part of their personality. We go back to that arrogance, right? But I would say that arrogance overlaps with like wanting to control the situation and wanting to be the like, you know, the head of everything. They wanted to be the top, the leader of the group, the one that everybody goes to, the sort of like center of attention. And when things didn't work out, they just didn't want to work on it. They didn't want to do anything that would say that they needed to change. Everybody else needed to change. We have the Moon card, and the Moon card here within this deck always amazes me, because it's sort of like smarmy. It's trickery within this one, because we see the two, the walrus and the man walking down the beach, and it looks fine until you know what the story is. And the story is that they're leading all these little shellfish to their death by like saying, oh, wonderful things are going to happen for you, everything's going to be great, but then they eat them. And it's sort of saying like this person has all these great things, and when you first see them, they're really like nice and just great. They're helpful. They're always like seemingly sacrificing themselves. But then when you get to know them, you see all those little things that sort of annoy you and sort of make them really obnoxious. But those good things about them sort of overlap. You know, like they sort of mask the bad things. But then we see the Hermit coming in, and we see that sort of like self-reflection, that isolation, time to learn about themselves. But I would say they didn't learn anything. The end of this relationship came along, like, because I would say that this is really the relationship, like, between you two. This is the relationship. this is sort of what happened. And then we see them, the end come, and they decide they're going to like learn what they did wrong. But it was more them trying to learn, but really just deciding that it wasn't anything that was wrong with them. It was like you. It was everybody else. It wasn't them that needs to change. Everybody else needs to change, and they just need to find somebody that fits them. That's their prerogative. That's the way they think. They don't think really about anyone else when it comes down to their happiness. So I would say that they're happy with where they're at. And it's interesting, we see this card here with the raven or crow, and they're holding this key, which is saying like they almost got control over everything. But you see there's a storm and there's lightning, and this bird can't fly during that. So even though it looks like things are going their way, it looks like everything's good, nothing's good. This is bad, right? We see that this is a negative situation they've put themselves in. And to top it all off, the fact that this lightning can hit this key and kill the bird really says even more in this situation. They built themselves a little world that can fall apart at any second. But it's interesting again because all these cards are facing this way. The major characters in all these cards are facing, out. And we see this last one here with 7 feathers facing the opposite way. And this is where I would say this is you. This is you like looking away from that situation, happy you're away from it, happy you're out of it, but like realizing that it just wasn't what you thought it would be. And it, in a similar way to the previous deck, it's sort of like you see that you made it out, that you sort of got the better end of the deal, even though it didn't seem that way. But I would say that right now they're not happy, and I would say that it's almost like things are going really good for you, and I think they're seeing that, maybe like hearing it through friends, and they're sort of upset that things are going well for you, and that their little like manufactured world isn't, doing well the way that they had hoped it would. So I'd say like right now and probably soon to come, things are really going to start doing well for you, like looking great, and that's going to really weigh on them. But I would say in their own little like fake way, they're happy, but in reality it's just because they're controlling that situation. So that's what I'm seeing with this third stack and the 5 of Swords. Our last stack is starting with Judgment. And if this card called out to you, I would say that this is what you're trying to seek right now. You're trying to seek answers. You want to know if the choices you made were right. You want to know if what happened in the relationship was right, if there's anything that was like on your part that you did wrong that led to the end. But you also want to know if the relationship was sort of like what you thought it was, meaning were there more issues than what you remember? And it's almost like you want clarity within this. You want to know what it is that led to this relationship, what made the relationship last that long, and why it ended. But I think there's also a sort of hidden part of this card where you want to know if that person was good. You want to know if that person was good for you, and you want to know if you can find somebody else. But we're going to start with our cards. We have Justice. Then we have the 8 of Pentacles, the 5 of Cups, and lastly the Star, Peace and Healing. So with all these cards coming in, I want to say that it seemed like you were working very hard in this relationship. You were putting in your effort. You were trying to sort of get to the point that you had hoped for. I think maybe there were like I brought up, you want to know if you were wrong. I would say you worked really hard to be fair. You worked hard to be understanding, to hear this person, and to be like an equal within this relationship. But I would say that within doing that, this person sort of took advantage of you. They took advantage of your desire to have a fair relationship, and rather than allowing it to be fair, they would almost play with you. because of it. They make you feel guilty for doing something you didn't do. And that really ties back into that judgment of you wanting to know if you did anything wrong, if they did anything wrong. And I would say that it almost seems like a psychological thing here where they made you feel like everything that was going on was negative, that you weren't working hard enough, that you weren't giving enough, that you weren't like catering to them enough, anything. They just wanted to sort of make an issue and sort of control the situation. And it seems like a lot with this card, because we sort of see those two figures, one sort of like cowering away and the other one in control, or like shouting angrily, right? Like controlling that situation. We see a lot of negativity here. And I want to focus on that while we go throughout the other cards. We once again see that hard work, right? That hard work, trying really hard to make this really good relationship, trying hard to build something. But we end up with this Five of Cups card, a negative card. Even though this isn't represented in a normal Five of Cups style with the 3 turned over and the 2 still standing, we can still see that sort of negativity. This horse looks sad. It's sort of like raining. It's dark. It's dreary. Everything is sad. So even though there's still a positive, we're focused on the negative. So no matter how much hard work we put into it, they still focus on the negative. And that's sort of where they're at right now. They're still focused on the negative. And it's almost like, even though it was their selfishness and their own like issues that led to the end of the relationship, and it's not saying that they're the ones that ended the relationship. It's saying that it was a lot of their choices that led to that separation, that going in different ways. I would say that there's a lot that was being contributed on their part that led to the issues. And I would say that almost you kept trying to fix the situation, kept trying to bring everything back together, to try and find a remedy, but they're so focused on this negativity that it wasn't working. There was nothing you could do about it. It was them. It was them not trying to work hard. It was them not willing to work hard. They were very focused on their own little agenda. They almost like they didn't want to contribute to it at all. When there was an issue, it's like either they would go so like sad, they would be like, oh, we can't fix this at all, there's no point in even trying, or they just decide that it was maybe somebody else's job to fix it. But either way, we're seeing that sort of that personality clash, right? We see a lot of personality clashing here, and that's a major point here with this staff. Even though it's whether or not they're happy now, I would say that this is a very like opposite relationship, and not in a way where opposites attract. I would say that your personalities do not mesh well with each other, and it was becoming more and more evident. And I think that also plays a part with that judgment card of whether or not you saw it right. And I would say that you do see it clearly, and it's almost like maybe right now the issue with it is, are they happy? It's not like, are they happy with this new relationship? It's like, are they still acting the same? Are they still sort of, playing that game of making you out to be the bad guy, or making you feel like you didn't work hard enough? But we see peace and healing here, and peace and healing say that you're going to be able to move on. You're going to be able to move forward, but they're still going to be stuck. And I think that a lot of it comes from you being able to move on. When you finally reach that point where you don't have to think about them anymore, then they're going to look at it and say that they missed out on that. They missed out. They lost something that was really great and really positive because they weren't able to sort of look up and see what was right in front of them. We see this horse looking down, but we see this beautiful card right in front of it. It's ignoring the card. It doesn't see the card. We don't see it staring at the star, right? We see it ignoring everything. And I would say that's where they're at. They're sort of like wallowing in self-pity. They're sad. They're like, look at me, things aren't going my way. But they're not happy, and I don't think they'll be happy for a while because they're just so fixated on like them that they can't see anything else. So that's what I'm seeing with this last stack and judgment. So I would say if you're here because you want to know if about that relationship, I would say that you were a major contributor to the positive of the relationship. but this person just, you know, wasn't having that. But those are all the cards that I have for you all today. I hope you were able to find a stack that resonated with you or provided you with some clarity or answers. If there's a question you would like asked in a future pick a card video, feel free to leave it in the comments section. If the stack you chose didn't resonate with you, you might have needed to go to another stack or hear both stacks, all stacks. And it might be that there's a video on the side of this one that was meant for you and you just needed to go through this video to get to that one. Of course, as always, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And I hope that you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy. I wish you a wonderful day, week, and year. Bye-bye.